Takes everything you got. Then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our strength where everybody knows your game, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. Our intro is so fresh, so if you see me smiling, it's because I love it so much. Alex, how's it going today, dude?
Not too bad. I'm just kind of still cracking up over the video. It turned out a lot better than I thought it would. Pretty proud of it.
What's that supposed to mean? Huh?
You
didn't trust us?
Yeah. You know. Luckily, other people are involved.
How are you today?
I'm good, man. Big win at the baseball game tonight. Finished season 7-3. Love the video, the intro. Just ready to talk some football. Let's do it, boys.
Yeah. We have a lot to get into today. We're definitely going to get into some of our wide receiver ranks, wide receiver 1 through 10. We're going to kind of quickly hit them. And then kind of go over some things and kind of do a little defend your rank during it. So a little bit more of a structured setup. House, how do we, what were we saying before Alex got on so we could kind of get him woken up? He'd come on and be like, I'm so tired, dude.
Yeah, I'm so tired. Work's been so tough. I'm just tired, dude. Guys.
I'm just tired. But honestly, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's good. It's good. Don't worry.
It's good.
I'm good.
Look, he's not even having it. Yeah. I came today to our intro and I was thinking about something and I was like, you know what? Before I ask anybody in the world, before I send a text, I might as well just ask them on air and see what they have to say. I want to be stumped. Are you guys ready? I have a question for you.
Let's go.
Fire away, dude.
Excluding condiments or like drinks, what doesn't an egg go in, like what can't an egg go into that wouldn't make it good or work? Because it could go in everything. What? Excluding condiments, even though certain condiments and dressings would probably have egg in them.
Pie.
You gotta put egg in the crust.
What would be the pie?
Yeah. I'm thinking like cooked egg, but
no, any sort of egg. Like it could be in any form.
Yeah.
It's unbeatable.
Egg on pumpkin pie, that doesn't sound like an ideal situation.
Yeah, in any form. It even comes in ice cream.
Again, is it a component or is it like an add-on, right? So are you slicing one up and throwing it on the salad, or are you including like the crust to the pie, right? I'm not putting an egg on top of an apple pie, but it's obviously in the crust. Or a lot of crust.
So the component part of that is fine. But then you have egg where it adds on, which is even better. But like that it's needed in so many things. Like it works in everything.
This is the dumbest conversation ever.
I thought this was going to go somewhere else.
I'm just wondering, like, I wish that you could prove me wrong. I thought you would, out of all the people in the world.
I had an egg sandwich for dinner. I literally cooked me an egg sandwich 30 minutes ago.
I would not put an egg in chili.
There we go.
It would probably work because there are definitely soups and stews that you put one on top of, but that's all I got.
I would eat eggs in chili. No?
I would. It's up to you, man.
You guys need to lighten up, all right? Honestly, Alex, after today, when we talk about when we finish up the wide receiver talks, Alex is going to have an egg on his head, so it's whatever. let's get into the news. Yeah. I'm done with you guys. Cup 3-year, $80 million extension, guaranteed $75 million. I think it's the most for a wide receiver ever. Aaron Donald restructured, so he's there. As far as fantasy goes, any implications? I mean, we love Cup anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it just puts Cup at the top of the pay scale, right? It's not going to impact his performance. I think it's going to get dicey for all those other receivers that want a big contract when they look at that one.
Yeah.
You know, Devos
Broncos,
and your McLaurins, and et cetera.
Yeah. Broncos sold. They sold to the Walmart, right?
The Walton family.
Yeah.
This has no impact on fantasy. I think it's cool to note. Geno is still leading the QB room. There was an update on it today. Impactful, better or worse for, skill players? The wide receivers, running backs. Alex, you go.
I mean, I think Geno's capable, but even when he was coming out of college, like he looked good throwing screens and short passes. He's never been known for being a deep guy, and you've got DK Metcalf and Lockett. So maybe this year he could, he was a second-round pick when he came into the league, but I don't think it matters. I think him or Drew Lock, either way, they're not great.
DK didn't do bad with Geno, though.
Yeah, he got targets.
Yeah. KW3, Kenneth Walker III, hamstring issue. I know you guys have been telling me nonstop, no concerns, no concerns. House, are you concerned?
June.
Depends on how long this thing lingers, right? So it could be we're taking it easy. I frankly haven't looked into this one to see if it's like, hey, you just tweaked it and they're being safe, or if it's something that they really need to be concerned about. But
it's closer to the tweak side. Is what I see.
Yeah, it's not.
And I wouldn't worry about it. I know you get worried about injuries in June for a season that starts in September.
Who got injured in June last year? Curtis Samuel.
I didn't know Curtis Samuel was ever healthy. Did he play football?
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it unless you hear continued reports. Right, the next session, and it starts to linger. Then it becomes a problem. But right now, I'm not worried about it.
Yep.
Tom Brady saying Gage to play in a very important role in offense. Newsworthy, Alex. I'll go to you because this is your man crush right here.
Yeah, I have Gage.
Honey.
I have Gage in one of my fantasy leagues, the one that we're in. But he was the only solid receiver for Atlanta. I think he is really good. It's another weapon for Brady, and starting out, he's going to be the number 2 guy for a while. So I think Gage for the first maybe 5 or 6 games could be somebody that is going to be startable.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
I need to track back. Mario, when you said this is his man crush, are you talking about Brady or Gage?
He's talking about Brady.
Because I'm pretty sure it's both.
Yeah, I like Gage, and Brady is Brady. It's another, phenomenal weapon he's going to have, and Gage is going to do a lot the first quarter of the year.
Phenomenal is a pretty bold take, but okay.
He's good.
Good. We were just talking with Big Travie yesterday, and he shed some light, and I mean, he knows what we know, but he said there's some whispers, which is funny, the fantasy whispers, go check them out, that Godwin might not be back till after the bye. And I could see that. He got hurt late.
Yeah.
So Gage could have a huge role in this offense.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Michael Thomas not showing to mandatory minicamp. House concerns?
I mean, it's ankle stuff, right?
Yeah, you got to be a little concerned about that.
I mean,
right?
I snagged him late in the league last year and stashed him just in case, and obviously it didn't pan out. If it's still lingering, man, you got to worry about it. So, I think the days of Michael Thomas as a top end receiver might be over.
Could be AJ Green,
unless he gets those magical Steph Curry regenerative ankles.
He's 29 though, right? I mean, he's already up there in age.
Yeah, How old was AJ Green when he had his injury? Sat a year, had to redo the surgery, sat some more, and now he's not AJ Green anymore.
I don't know. He's 31 right now, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was around 29 when he got the same thing, to where ankles are important as a receiver, and
A little bit.
and to me, it's the fact that it's lingering. And I know he had issues where he wanted more money, and he didn't seem like he was the happiest there. To where, like, this really reminds me of AJ Green. A lot about it does.
Confirmed 29 years old, Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Man, crushed it. I know I crushed this AJ Green one too when you confirm that one. It's 31. You'd be like, boom, nailed it. Oh man, headphones are killing my ear. Alex, I had something for you, and I can't think of it right now, but I know what I do want you to do.
Yeah.
Get into your top 10.
All right. So I'm going to go through this pretty quick because obviously we're going to touch on some important ones.
Yeah. Hey, so wait, before you get to starting on this, and I'm sorry, I know I kind of gave you the reins, and last time I did this, I said, hey, Alex, can you go over your guys in the top 12? You went from 7 to 12 to 1. So just, can you start from the top? Can you start from the top, please?
Yeah. I'm going to go Devontae Adams 1. And then Cooper Kupp 2. Jefferson 3. Chase 4. Pittman 5. Williams 6.
Mike Williams.
I got problems, Alex. I got problems.
Mike Williams is a common last name. I'm going to need you to tell us Mike Williams.
Mike Williams.
Thanks, buddy.
Mike Jones. 8-0.
Do that again.
Yeah. And then after Tyreek, I have Mike Evans, and then CD, and then I think Stephon Diggs is my last.
So I think I know you're going to do great when we do this, but I'm just going to kind of reiterate Alex's top 10 since he just kind of did last names or first names. And if you're not viewer and you're listening to the podcast, you might not have caught it. So we go number 1, Alex had at Devontae Adams. His number 2 was Cooper Kupp. 3, Justin Jefferson. 4, Jamar Chase. 5, Michael Pittman. 6, Mike Williams. 7, Tyreek Hill. 8, Mike Evans. 9, CD Lamb. 10, Stephon Diggs. Look at that.
First and last name. Good job, Mario.
Didn't know there was a lot of Williams receivers that are in the top 30,
Williams
but yeah.
I mean, people are ranking Jameson pretty high.
Shut up.
You have Mike Williams at 6, and you're going to act like you're 2 above putting Jameson Williams up there. No, come on.
Well, one played in the NFL already, so.
That is the only fair point that you can make with that. Alex, I'm off to you. I heard you wanted to say something here.
Yeah, so 2 things. To refer back, Mario, you were wrong. AJ Green's 33.
Shit!
Yeah. And about to turn 34. So he'll be 34 by the start of the season. So there's that. Alex, I got questions, my dude.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about Pittman. Why? Why is Michael Pittman number 5 when the rest of us have him? All right, our consensus is 9.67 and our low is 18.
Yeah.
What do you have him at, House?
What do I have him at? I might be the 18. Let me flip my screen and I can tell you in just a second. And House 18. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Confirmed.
So you're the hater.
I am
Alex
the hater,
has got
but I wanted
bias?
to tell me why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
so
number 5.
yeah, I have him 5. He finished 16th last year with Carson Wentz at QB. I do think Matt Ryan is an upgrade. Now, the Colts offensive line is already a top 5. They were 4th in run blocking for PFF. Now their pass blocking wasn't great. They started out slow in 2021. The first 6 games they were rated 50.8 in PFF, which is the bottom 3. They finished the last 6 games at 62.5. So They did get better at pass protecting with, Matt Ryan having Taylor, the possibility of Paris, Campbell healthy, them adding Alec Pierce. Pittman's going to have a big year. I don't think he regresses. And him finishing 16 last year, I don't see how he can't improve. And for me, with the height, with, what's coming out of camp, and, Matt Ryan is Matt Ryan. I think what Matt Ryan was able to do last year was, kind of ridiculous. He was 17th in PFF pass grade on the Falcons, which had one of the bottom 3 offensive lines. Ridley really wasn't a factor. They didn't have anybody but besides Gage and Pitts. So I think there's a huge improvement.
All right, so let's not scoff at having Pitts, and you just talked about how much you like Gage, right? So you're downplaying the fact that he had some players last year, and I think Ryan obviously is better than Carson Wentz. But I don't know, man. They're going to pound the ball, right?
They did last year.
I understand that they can. I understand that they can balance that a little bit, but I don't know.
You think he regresses based off your ranking?
A little bit. That's what he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. You're right.
So my only concern is that you think you said you think Matt Ryan is an upgrade. Obviously, they're going to run the ball. Do I think Taylor does what he did last year? The probability of that's not high. They're going to, Matt Ryan's going to throw the ball, and Pitts is going to be or not Pitts, but Pittman's going to be his guy. It's, to me, I can understand, maybe he's borderline top 10. I understand the argument, but getting him around 20, I just don't see the regression.
Did you just get lawyered? Salesperson? He said, so you said this, but here's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think this is a crown for Alex.
Yeah. Listen, hey,
Alex,
I could see I see upside, right?
Yeah.
When I look at the players that I have ahead of him, though, there's just not a ton of guys where I would definitively say, yes, I would rather have Michael Pittman in that offense than them. Right.
Dude.
So would I rather have, I have Jalen Waddle ahead of him. Would I rather have Jalen Waddle or Michael Pittman? And it's Jalen Waddle all day for me.
You think Tua's? Yeah.
I see upside. You make a good point, but I'm not going to buy it until I see him put up a big season. Because I feel like he was a little hyped last year. He says he's ready to go. He had good numbers. 16th. I know he had good numbers, like I said, but I don't know. A top 5 finish just seems high to me.
It's bold.
I will say that is a bold take. You have him at 5th, right, Alex?
Yeah.
That is bold. The other part I wanted to add, House, is on top of what Alex is saying, he's the guy there. I mean, he's been in the system for 3 years now. He has Matt Ryan, who almost always has a wide receiver 1. 5 is high. Do I think it's possible for him? I do. And I think this goes to the point where we look at running backs and we're like, here's going to be a ton of volume. There's going to be a ton of targets for Michael Pittman.
Yep.
I'm excited for him. I keep loading up on him. His ADP is so juicy right now, dude. Every best ball, I have him, I think 80% of my best balls. It's such an easy spot for me. And it seems like such a gimme. I loaded up on Cooper Kupp. I think I was in 4 leagues last year. I don't do a ton of leagues. This year I'm doing a ton of best balls, but I'll still probably only have 4 or 5 leagues. And I had Cooper Kupp in 50% of those because it seems obvious. The ADP is there. You're getting a quarterback that has been known to just air it out, and it seems obvious. I don't know. And
do you have his ADP handy?
It is 48 overall.
48th overall.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I think you have him ranked at the top end of his production, right?
I think
everything has to go right for him to be 5.
For sure.
I think that is close to his ceiling as well. I could see his ceiling even maybe like wide receiver 3. I just don't think he's as talented as somebody like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, or Cooper Kupp even.
Yeah,
so yeah, like wide receiver 3 or 4.
They got better.
You do have them close to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not even my biggest problem with your rankings.
Uh-oh.
Mike Williams
He said this one
is outlandish.
This one is dirty.
Consensus of 21 from the entire
in
group.
our rankings.
Yes.
The dad bod got him at 21. Okay.
Yes. Alex, you're definitely the high at 6. And believe it or not, I am definitely the low at 33. But my man Mario has him at 30. So you're in unfriendly territory, my friend.
Yeah, that's
you're
okay.
in the shark water here. Yeah, like you could probably have been better off with anybody but us two, and you would have been in easier territory.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Let me run through them real quick. We have 30, 6, 20, 15, 22, and 33.
Yeah.
So we're all over the
30s. You guys putting him in the 30s is the craziest thing.
Nah.
You're like, oh, not only is he going to be worse, he's going to be a lot worse this year.
Well, no, not really. And I'll tell you why. Do you want
Where
me
did
to
he
start
finish
house?
last
I know
year?
this is. I know.
Where did he finish last year?
He finished wide receiver 12. Do you know what he did for? Do you know what he did for from week 6, counting week 6 to week 18? You know where he finished? Which is the part of the season that like you're like, okay, this is where I'm looking to see what they're gonna do next, right?
Okay, let's hear it.
He finished wide receiver 28 over those weeks.
Yeah.
So this dude loaded up on the first 5 weeks. Then we didn't hear from him again because he can't stay healthy and he honestly isn't consistent. And you're calling for a year 6 wide receiver breakout.
Last 5
games.
games.
House. He got me all riled up.
Listen.
Like
so last 5 games, Keenan Allen averaged 8.2 targets a game and averaged 10.06 fantasy points per game the last 5. Williams, 8.6 targets, 10.44 points per game. So you talk about this second half that he did nothing. He had two
second half.
games.
Second third.
He still finished the last 5 games better than Keenan Allen. So he's getting more targets than Keenan Allen is. Keenan Allen is getting older. I brought this up last time to where there's only a few wide receivers who've had the amount of 100 catch seasons as Keenan Allen. Statistically, he can't keep up to where he can only stay the same or go up. He's going to get targets. It's not like somebody magical was added that's going to take targets away. I think Justin Herbert obviously is the MVP.
You know who else
year.
started coming alive those last 6 games?
Who?
Josh Palmer.
I mean, you're really going to think that Palmer is going to be taken. Like, the hype that they're coming out of camp, too. Like, they are all in on Mike Williams. They just paid him. What's he making? $20 million a year, so he's making a little bit less than Cooper Kupp is. Like, he got paid. They're not paying him what he got paid for nothing. He's going to get targets. He's going to put up points. It's another year in the system. It's in one more, another year with Justin Herbert. I'm really high on Mike Williams this year.
Clearly. And you can be wrong.
For sure.
But here's the thing. Mario made a good point, right? He had what, 9 TDs, and I think 6 were in that first couple of games that Mario talked about. Like, he had 2 games with 2 and then a couple with 1 apiece. And then he didn't score after that. Right? Now, I didn't go back and look at the Chargers game log and see, were they scoring a ton of touchdowns? Were they Eckler? Were they Allen? But I don't know, man. I feel like he's real streaky, and to again become way more consistent in year 6 just doesn't seem like it's gonna work for me, man. I also don't like that his catch percentage is only 58.9. Like, he gets targeted, but
it's a lot of jump balls on those 56.
And It's not like he's
and
played
those could
with
break the wrong
terrible
way.
quarterbacks.
I mean, I would say him playing when he came into the league, Phillip Rivers was not good that last year at Chargers. I mean, what did he throw, like 25 picks? And then, I mean, the thing with Allen and Williams is they do share. So inside the 10 in the red zone, it's a 25% share each. He's going to get red zone targets. Herbert is top 5 in deep balls. Like, it's who's he throwing those deep balls to? Keenan Allen? More likely than not, it's more is going to go to Williams.
So again, I feel like the same thing could be said here as another receiver in an article that was written that I think we're going to talk about later, but I won't spoil it right now. But I feel like the same argument could be made that he's getting those deep balls, and what if he doesn't connect on those deep balls, right? It could break two different ways. I'm not confident that the jump is going to be there again.
I understand.
We know
for sure.
Do we know what he finished the year before? So he was what? What'd you say it was? 16 last year?
He was 12 last year.
12 last year.
You have any idea what he was the year before?
Way
sure,
lower.
give me 1 second. Way lower.
Way lower.
And every year before then.
Well, he had that one crazy year where he had like 700 yards and 10 touchdowns or something like that.
48 last year out of 15 games.
Yeah.
That was with Jay Herbs.
Yeah. New offense. Now, new coach.
So
41 the year before in 19.
Right.
So we're expecting another big jump.
Another big
I don't
jump.
think it's a big jump. I think
6
12
spots?
to 6. I think 6 spots it's a jump, but it's not like 30 to 10. Like 6 spots is, an extra 10 catches and, maybe an extra 80 yards and a touchdown maybe.
This is what I'm going to say next is obviously let me explain it before you make your stink faces. Mike Williams is like to me the poor man Amari Cooper, and what I mean by that, please let me explain, is Amari Cooper's one that excuse me, gets injured probably week 6, week 5, but plays through it. And by plays through it, I mean you visibly see it every single game where he's like rubbing his hamstring. He's getting massages on the sideline. Mike Williams is somebody who doesn't miss a lot of games, but he also deals with these sort of injuries, and you see it on the sideline. You see it on the field. And I said it before in one of our episodes. He comes down heavy, dude.
He does. He does fall
hard. He's Claypool Senior for your house.
I was just about to say, I think he might be second in the league in falling over when he's attempting a catch only to chase Claypool.
He does.
Yeah.
He falls over pretty tough.
And that's coming from a Steeler fan.
Right.
Making that call out.
I get the arguments. I guess, my 4 arguments is 10th in offensive line in ranking, PFF top 5 team. They're going to score points. I don't think there's an argument that Herbert's a top 5 QB in the league. By default, those top 2 receivers are going to get targets. And I think Keenan Allen's on the downside. I still have Keenan Allen, I think, in the top 15. I think they're arguably one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL.
I think they're pretty strong. Let's keep it moving here because I have somebody that I wanted to call you out in your rankings. I believe, Alex, you had somebody that I really like at 9. And maybe I'm high on him. I don't know. CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
I think what's our consensus here, House? Is it
on CD? Average rank 6.
The dad bot is
3.
So we're about 6. I'm the highest at 4. Somebody's the lowest at 11, which I don't have that in front of me.
That is Brian is the lowest.
Surprise.
Yeah. So look at what boat you're swimming in. You and
I'm
Brian.
at 9. I mean, what did you finish last year? 14?
Later, 17.
Okay, I thought he was 14. But
he
was white.
He finished
19.
Oh wait. Yeah, white 19.
Okay, so you finished white 19. You think there's a big jump. My counter argument for that is I think Cooper helped with some of the one-on-one. I also don't think Gallup is a bum. I don't think James Washington is a bum. I have Schultz having a really good year this year. Obviously, I've CD in the top 10, so there's nothing bad I'm going to say about the guy. You know, he's a stud. He's one of the most fun receivers to watch, in my opinion, in the NFL.
That's why he's top 5.
But I don't see the targets of volume. I think Dak Prescott
let me tell you how
likes
many
to spread
targets
it.
are open. There's 195. 195 targets open. And James Washington ain't filling all of those. No. Michael Gallup's not there for probably a good, let's say 3 to 6, maybe longer, maybe shorter. But I would guess 3 to 6.
Yeah. They're going to run a lot. They're going to run a ball with Zeke and Pollard.
And those RBs are going to see targets too.
Pollard's going to be, I increase Pollard weekly in my rankings.
I think I'm going to rank up Pollard a little bit.
It's just, he's a stud out of the backfield. He can catch. I like CD. I have him 9th, but I don't see that drastic jump. I don't see him going from wide receiver 19 to, where you have him. I just don't see it. Prescott likes to spread it around. When Gallup comes back healthy, Gallup, when he's like the number 3 receiver, was getting like 800 yards or 700 yards. Now you're putting him at 2. And James Washington, coming in, through the slot, I don't think he's amazing. How long was he the
wide receiver? Wait, when was he ever the wide receiver 3?
Who, Gallup?
Offense? Yeah. Isn't this CeeDee Lamb's? This is CeeDee Lamb's 3rd year, correct?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
So 2 years ago, yeah, he played a little bit more there. Okay. About half the season, right? No more. He probably played more.
No, he played, yeah. It
was a disappointing year for Gallup if you owned him in fantasy. I think they played him as a deep ball threat.
Well, I remember I think I got in an argument with the fantasy footballers about it.
Did you win?
And
did you win?
Yeah, I definitely won. They had Gallup as a top 30 wide receiver 2 years ago. They said with Dak.
That's probably why I bought.
Dak, Gallup, CD, and Amari, they were like, this is going to be the best offense in the NFL, which I think it was like top 10. But they were like,
yeah, cut him some slack because like that's the year that Dak got hurt. And honestly, Dak was off to a crazy start that year. I think he was on pace for 6,000.
Yeah, but Gallup,
they didn't use Gallup right.
Where they had him ranked was 1,000-yard season for him. They were like, hey, this team could put up 3 1,000-yard receivers. Because Dak does like to spread it around, and we saw that last year. We saw Schultz get more involved.
I love Schultz getting involved. I'm high on him too. There's 195 targets available, and there's 19 TDs that are available. They're up for grabs. Now, I do expect Tony Pollard. I expect Tony Pollard to get some of those. James Washington, I'm actually more worried about Jalen Tolbert, to be honest with you. I think Jalen Tolbert's actually kind of a sleeper in right now.
He could.
Yeah,
I think we see CD
were invalidated for me when he said James Washington. Sorry, but I had to bring it up.
Yeah, no, I like James Washington. He did show a year in Pittsburgh that in the right situation he can be productive.
The right situation. Dak likes Mason Rudolph and a duck collar.
What did he? Didn't he have a year? It was like 800 yards.
Yeah, with Mason Rudolph and a duck collar. They couldn't throw it to anybody else. They just chucked it down the field.
I think James Washington was a good ad. You watch Wilson go to the Dolphins and pick up Washington. I thought it was crazy they let Wilson go. But
Wilson, I've been watching the Cowboys games. Wilson and Pollard are like I like CeeDee Lamb, and I think Schultz kind of is like available, but I still think his availability is why. But Wilson he's fun to watch, and so is Pollard is like if you guys haven't watched the full game, and it took me a while. I was roasting Rob about this the other day, but man, I've said it probably 3 different times now. It's like I'm too low on Pollard. You guys are right.
Yeah.
But you're too low on CD.
I disagree, but he's still a top 10 wide receiver. But
no, top 10's not going to cut it. He's going to finish top 5. There's going to be so much hard. Dak likes him in the end zone. I don't know what there isn't to love. He has an ascot. Is that what it's called? He has one on right there. He looks like
asterisk.
No,
I'm pretty sure that's a COVID mask.
Oh,
Oh, is it? I actually didn't know what it was. No, I didn't think it was an asterisk. I really didn't. You just said, "Is it an asterisk?" So don't call me.
I didn't know what you were like referring to. I was like, "Is he wearing a beret? What is
Either that, or for us old guys that remember when Deion Sanders used to wear the headband around his neck."
Yeah.
It's probably
All
before
right,
your
all
time, Mario. Let me
Excuse me.
let me jump in on Lamb here real quick.
Okay.
Oh, can I jump in? So just a couple of things, right? So I'm on Mario's side here.
You got scared in this episode, Alex.
he's obviously had flashes, right, in the first couple of years. But, I was looking at it today, and one, that division's always terrible. So there's always the opportunity to put up numbers. But I was also looking at the rest of the teams that they play. And while they have some challenges, they've got some
I like this
relatively soft competition. Alex, this is going to hurt your feelings, but they played Detroit, Chicago, Houston, Jacksonville, Tennessee's in there, which I'm not sure what they're going to be like this year. I feel like there's some additional opportunities. I don't think they have to run the gauntlet here, and I think that opens it up for him to put up some more numbers. As I was researching again, I came across Ian Hartitz from PFF saying that he's going to take another leap forward, and it's going to have him as, I think he said, one of the position's best overall talents.
Talent-wise, I agree.
So I don't know that,
why would you be worried about
I'm right there with Mario. He's 4, I'm 6. CD's going to go, dude.
Yeah, we're a few rankings off. I'm not, it's not mean you aren't too off. I just kind of like with the schedule you're saying, I'm like, Pollard's going to eat, man. They're going to be playing some teams where they're going to be able to just run it, score up quick, and run it the rest of the game. I would like to see the Cowboys play tougher teams to be throwing the ball more.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, that
second half being behind throwing the ball.
I've been watching the Cowboys. They do it all the time.
They just throw.
They throw.
They spread it.
But like the fact you keep going about like, yeah, you're not that far from us, but you have two guys, and maybe this is kind of biased for us, House. You have two guys that like clearly shouldn't be ahead of him, in my opinion. I mean, I guess I could see the Michael Pittman, but yeah, you know what?
It's okay. You guys can both be wrong. I'll still like you.
No, we'll still like you, okay? We'll still keep you on here just for your wave, so you can talk about Jenna. That was a good one, dude.
No, it was
House. Get into your top 20, so I don't even have to hear Alex.
I have to do my top 20.
No, your top 10.
Just your episode.
Just your top 10.
All right, so my top 10, and I'm going to follow instructions. So number 1, Cooper Kupp. Number 2, Justin Jefferson. 3, Jamar Chase. 4, I have Devontae Adams. 5, I have Stephon Diggs. 6, the guy we just talked about, CeeDee Lamb. 7, Mike Evans. 8, A.J. Brown. 9, Tyreek Hill. Alex, be quiet. And 10, Debo Samuel.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I have a couple of issues.
Yeah.
Just to start off, no, I mean, the one that stands out to me probably the most is A.J. Brown. I mean,
that's high.
It's Jalen Hurts is
high.
Throwing him the ball, and Jalen Hurts isn't going to be throwing the ball that much.
Jalen Hurts is awesome.
Oh, really? What do you throw? 21 touchdowns last year for like 3,100 yards?
Doesn't matter.
You're like, stats? What are those?
Doesn't matter.
A.J. Brown is a beast, but, man, you're relying on Jalen Hurts, like, just throwing it, opening up, completing more than 60% of the passes, like with Devontae Smith, and they've got a tight end, and Miles Sanders is healthy. He's going to be, getting targets, and the number 3 back is going to be getting targets out of the backfield on passes. I don't love any receiver. I mean, it's kind of like the argument we've had about with Lamar Jackson. he has two guys he's going to. You know, you're talking about Mark Andrews and you talk about Bateman. And then now you have Devontae Smith, you have Goddard, you have A.J. Brown. Like, I don't know if any of them are – I mean, besides the tight end, I don't know if any of them can really be a top 15 receiver. I don't see it. Talent's there. I just don't see it. Okay.
All right,
so
since we talked about getting lawyered earlier, my rebuttal. Let me throw this out here because I did it for Alex's, and I'll take my medicine if I have to. But as I look at AJ, 17.67, right, is our consensus.
Mm-hmm.
And then 19, 15, 14, 21, 29. Then there's me way up high, number 8.
Super duper. That's a Mike Williams take.
Hey.
AJ Brown's done it for 3 years, though.
But the difference is one has Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
That's tough.
Sorry, go ahead, House. Sorry.
Listen, I think Hurts is going to have a good year. And that could be, again, I think I said this on another episode. Mario loves it. It might be, again, because I have him in our league. And I'm manifesting this by continually saying it. But I don't think he's as bad of a passer of the football as people think.
They hate him.
Does he make some bad throws? Yes. Does Lamar Jackson make some bad throws? To go back to your comparison, yes. But what do people always say? Lamar's getting better as a thrower. Hurts is going to continue to improve. And, you know, his completion percentage, I don't have it in front of me. It took a jump.
About 59.
Yeah.
I think I have it memorized. 61.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it took a little bit of a jump. He didn't have a great year last year. There's no denying that, right? But
he was throwing the dirt.
He had I'm talking about AJ Brown. I'm sorry. I reverted back to AJ Brown. He didn't have great numbers last year. They weren't crazy.
He was hurt.
That offense, you know, it was kind of the perfect storm for receivers to not do a ton. But before that, 2,000-yard seasons, 8 and 11 TDs. I brought it up on your Mike Williams. I don't love the catch percentage because he was at like 61, 62. I think the Eagles are going to ramp up the passing game a little bit, man. There's no other reason for them to make that trade. If they're not going to put the ball in Hurts' hand and let him throw it, there is no reason for them to make that trade. I think big things are coming.
So to kind of touch back on when you talk like with Lamar Jackson, you know, getting better as a passer, his best year as a passer was his first full year as a starter. So he came out of the blocks firing. Statistically, he's gotten worse as a passer.
That's just not true.
I mean, when you're looking at
Lamar.
it, when you're looking at it, the eye test.
He threw so much less.
But his most passing yards was his first full year as a starter.
He would have probably beat that last year.
Yeah, he was. Yards per game. But last year was a rough year for him. 16 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. I think Jalen Hurts is one of those guys to where when you're a mobile QB, you can do certain things for, you know, early on in your career. And if you don't develop as a passer, your NFL career gets shorter. And Hurts is fantasy relevant because of his legs and not his arm. So
sure, that's true. But guys develop their passing game as they play.
Some do. Well, Vic, it took his second 10 years
better.
For that.
Yeah.
After he went to prison, he became a better passer.
You got nothing else to do but play catch.
Yeah.
So,
if you could...
Josh Allen took 2 years to get there. I got roasted on Twitter for saying that they're even comparable, but
they're not comparable.
Your favorite stat of completion percentage was right there in the same ballpark as Jalen Hurts. His first 2 seasons.
He had
Stephon Diggs.
He got Diggs in his third year?
Yep.
And huge then a huge jump. He got better every year. But the arm talent, I guess it was more of learning the NFL. He came from a little school. Allen, I didn't think Allen was going to be Josh Allen, but Jalen Hurts, to me, with his legs, he's relevant and he's a top 10 fantasy QB. I'm a big AJ Brown fan. I love watching him play. Just sucks he went to the Eagles.
I'm going to throw this out there for Hurts. He had games last year, 76.9, 69.6, 66.7, 77.1 completion percentages. Now, he also had 45.2, 46.2.
Right.
So that's the thing. I mean, you eliminate a couple of those bad games, right? Some of those have regression both ways, right? There's positive and there's negative regression, and it's going to come back to the mean. I think it's going to increase, man. 65, 66, 67%. That just means that your boy AJ Brown is going to do some things.
Did you see our buddy Big Travie says AJ Brown is that dude? Let's go, boys!
Gotta have a quarterback. Devontae Smith looked good too, but Jalen Hurts had trouble getting him the ball.
They're going to throw the ball.
Alex, you had another one that you wanted to kind of pick on House about.
Yeah. So Debo.
Two. You have two.
Yeah, two. Well, the other one is definitely conversation, but not as big as the Debo take for me. I like Debo, but he's pretty much put it in the Niners' head. If A, I want to be traded. B, if I'm staying here, I am not running the ball like I did last year.
And House, you had him at wide receiver 9? Yes.
I think
wide
I had
receiver
10, didn't I?
You had him at 10.
And Alex has him at 16.
At 16.
How our average is 5.17. So House isn't that seems high. Oh,
I don't think
our average is 12.67.
Right.
Sorry.
Yes.
Our average is 12.67. House is the second to highest one on him.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Why, House? Why?
Yeah, so this is lower than I actually had him. So listening to the rest of the guys talk, doing a little additional research, I think the health, I think the rushing numbers, I think I had him projected too high initially. I don't know, man. I think that if he's there, they're going to use him. Right? Whether he wants to run the ball or not, whether he wants to catch the ball or not, wherever he wants to line up, he's either going to do it or he's not going to get paid. And I think he wants to get paid. Otherwise, he's Le'Veon Bell and he's sitting out. I mean, there's really a couple of different things that could go on there. I think he showed last year that he can be dynamic.
For sure.
The way he can run with the ball in his hands. You get him into space and he's electric, man. I think the rushing numbers go down, but I think the receiving numbers are high enough to keep him in that top 10 range.
He for sure is electric.
For sure.
Alex, I don't know if you wanted – I have spoke my piece on Debo. I've written it down. I actually think I'm still too high on him, so I probably will go back and re-rank him. Alex, did you have any last-minute points that you wanted to make on Debo?
I think one of the main things, obviously, the rushing. If they kind of take that down a little bit, that's a little bit of a concern. Averaging 18.2 yards per catch. I don't think that stays up. And there's a big change possibly for the offense next year. New QB. So
it's a lot of red flags.
Yeah, so with Lance, you really don't know. I'm not high on Trey Lance. From what I've seen, there's a lot of skills he has that can end up being, this could be Josh Allen in theory down the road. But I don't think he's going to be that good. And you still have Kittle and a QB in the first year in the league. He's going to target his security blanket, his tight end. You still have another good wide receiver there with Ayuk. I like Debo. I like Debo. I think Debo is an amazing talent. He's a freak athlete. I think the fact that NFL defenses didn't have any film on Debo and what he was doing to that extent, that gave him a year to adjust. And
remember that.
I hope he finishes where House has him finishing. The dude deserves it. He works harder than any other receiver on the field, deserves it. But Kyle Shanahan isn't going to be able to do it again for him this year, guys.
Yeah, I don't remember who said it the other night. Somebody, made the comparison to the Wildcat, right? And how that took a year or two, and then defenses caught up to it.
Somebody did just say that.
And
same thing with mobile QBs.
The same thing's going to happen here. Again, I don't think they're going to run him as much. I think everybody went to the end of last year saying, "Oh, next year he's going to get even more carries. He's going to do all these different things."
That'd be less.
I'm looking at my notes on the screen behind me, and it just says questions right next to Debo. I could see him. I could see him shooting up, or I could see him, dropping down, kind of into that wide receiver 2, low wide receiver 2 range. There's a lot of room for movement here with him that I don't think is there with some of these other receivers that we both have on our lists.
Yeah.
I want you both to remember the defenses catch on conversation that we just all kind of mutually agreed on. Let's keep that same energy for a little bit later in the episode here. So make sure you don't forget it. All right, Alex?
Okay, no problem.
You.
Yeah, no problem.
You right over there.
Okay, blow cockroach.
Did you want one more?
Yeah, on this one, it's this one I could change the ranking, but on Diggs, getting a little bit older.
Are you digging on Dig? Are you digging on him?
I like him, but I think they're probably going to focus a little bit better on him. He's great, but he's getting a little bit older. I'm not sure what his age is. I want to say it's like 29 or 30. I could be wrong on that. They did add Jamison Crowder, who I think is one of the most underrated receivers. And Davis is still there. And then them adding James Cook out of the backfield. I think the Bills have decided that Singletary is going to be their back, but I think James Cook is going to be a guy who's going to be doing something like Tony Pollard does. Could be lining out in the slot sometimes, be coming out from the back. He's an athlete. He's undersized, but they want to give him the ball or they wouldn't have drafted him where he is. So I think there's a little bit of regression there. Not a lot. He was wide receiver 7 last year. I have him at 10. I just have him getting a little bit worse. I still think he's top 10.
What's our we have him, Stephon Diggs is averaging in our group 5.17. House has him 5?
At 5.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
House is very average on ours.
Cody and Brian have him at 3.
That's crazy to me.
Maybe,
yeah.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, it does seem like he's never finished higher than 4.
Yeah,
he's never finished higher than wide receiver 4.
I don't see it getting better. I mean, when Josh Allen got him, Stephon Diggs blew up his 2 years. When he came from Minnesota, he was underutilized. Allen unleashed it, but he's getting older. They do have a tight end that ended up showing up in the second half. Knox is legit. Crowder is legit. There's just I think they're going to want to open it up. Good offenses change up things every year, so defenses can't adjust. That's why Kyle Shanahan is Kyle Shanahan, as he makes adjustments every single year. But I think Diggs still gets targets. I still think, I have him 10th. He's still going to be very, very good.
Your number 1 wide receiver that you have on here is older than Stephon Diggs, and you're over here dogging his age.
Well, because he's the best wide receiver in the NFL.
And Diggs ain't no slouch.
Can you tell me what Derek Carr threw for last year with
4,900?
Yeah.
Okay. What did Josh Allen throw for? 44? Who did he think they lost? Cole Beasley. They lost
Cole. What was he?
Zay
33?
Jones.
Oh, Zay Jones.
You can't act like Cole Beasley wasn't relevant in this offense. He very much
last year.
Sure was.
Last year was he
decent?
Last year?
He took targets.
What do you get? Like 600 yards?
I'm saying how many targets he got, and you're just acting like he's just
nothing.
And
Jamison Crowder,
Zay Jones too.
I think Jamison Crowder is better than Cole Beasley, and I think that's a legit argument. Jamison Crowder did more with Zach Wilson and Sam Darnold.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not.
But
like that same sort of setup is happening.
Diggs is top 10. I just think this is I think he's going to get closer down to the downside. I think He still has good years, like 3-4 years left in the league. I just don't see him cracking the top 5. I have him in the top 10.
Sorry, I jumped in too early there. Here's my question.
No, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Is Crowder going to get 112 targets?
Probably not.
Is he going to get 72 targets?
I think more.
Okay. Because that was Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders last year.
Yeah.
Beasley had 700
They had 180 together? Or are you saying
we're forgetting about Davis.
Combined.
We're forgetting about Davis.
I'm not forgetting about Davis. I'm just so sick of hearing about Davis.
You have to mention him. I mean, he doesn't look bad.
No, he
He's gonna. There's a lot.
He's gonna have more targets than Jameson.
They're a Super Bowl team on paper. They have talent all over offense. They have a good defense. Stephon Diggs is a top 10 wide receiver. I still have him top 5.
I don't think your take on that is too crazy. I really don't. I truly could see that being very much in his like. Again, though, it goes back to the Mike Williams thing that just grossed me out.
Well, I gotta make it fun.
He was one, Mario, when you were going on about Brandon Cooks months ago, when we were texting back and forth, all of us, right? And you were like, just look at his numbers. Watching Diggs, except for that 1 year, he never jumped off the screen to me. But he always just had huge numbers. He had that first or second year in Buffalo where he had like 1,500 yards and something crazy, and you could see. But before that, I was like, oh, he's just the guy that caught the Minnesota Miracle, right, or whatever they called it. But then you look at it, and he has stats every single year. He had him in Minnesota. He had him in Buffalo. I don't know, man. Allen's gonna sling it.
Yeah.
The thing that would be real scary
What?
is if Allen looked downfield more when he scrambled before he ran. Like, I think, roast me for this if you want to, but I think if you look at like young Big Ben, right, when he would run and Mike Wallace would just take off, or AB or Emmanuel Sanders would just take off, and he looked down the field and hit a ton of huge plays that way. And I don't know that I saw a ton of that from Allen. When he ran, he was going, right? If he would look down the field, Diggs, I think Diggs' numbers would go even higher.
It's just hard.
I think he'd get some of those big plays.
Yeah, I think it could happen for sure. Not hating it.
He's a contender for a wide receiver 1 every season.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think he's easily, and I think his floor is kind of wider than some of those top 5 wide receiver, top 6 wide receivers, because I think he could be a wide receiver 15. It's kind of a spread. It's kind of a weird spread.
Yeah,
I think it's more often that you'll see him in the top 10 or 11 through 15.
He's one that could have a wide range. The only one we've talked about that has a wider range from where they're ranked is probably Mike Williams, because he's like 30.
Yeah, he could probably be wide receiver 47 again, just like 2 years ago or last year or whatever. 2 years. I'm going to get into quickly do this because we're running a little low on time. I wanted to get into my top 10 wide receivers for you guys. Are you boys ready?
Okay.
Fire away, sir.
Cooper Kupp, the man that was paid, wide receiver 1. Run it back, boys.
Not shocked.
JJ is number 2. That's right. No Devontae Adams yet. There he is. Devontae Adams, number 3.
Stupid.
CeeDee Lamb, you guys heard my love for him, number 4. Mike Evans, number 5, is going to eat early on in the season and probably for a whole season. TD Machine.
Yep.
He's a beast.
Just mentioned Stephon Diggs, number 6. I feel very comfortable with him being number 6, truthfully. Jamar Chase at 7. And I know you boys are screaming about this one a little bit. Here you go, Alex. We're definitely higher than I don't know. I think the community is a little bit lower on Michael Pittman, maybe something like 12 to 15.
I don't get it. I don't get it
either. I promise. I think it's the most obvious wide receiver there is. I swear, I feel it.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill at 9.
Yeah.
This one's gonna ruffle some feathers, though.
Don't say
Courtland Sutton, number 10.
Sell me on Courtland Sutton, Mario.
Yeah. Sell me this pen.
And if you say it's just Russ, that's not good enough.
I'll punch you in the face.
Sutton's done this. He's had a season. He did fine in that season. This offense is going to be completely different. I don't have much other to say than that. I see all the videos on Twitter all day about how the Courtland and Russ connection is growing, and it is. I don't trust Judy. I actually think it goes Courtland, Tim Patrick, Judy. That's how I think the finishes fall. I don't know if I have them ranked that way.
I agree with that.
I just don't. And I think Courtland ends up being the guy. He's a deep ball threat. Rob talks about it all the time. And he also can play these short, quick slants. And he's long, man. He runs nice strides. I'm all about Sutton. I think he's a good end zone target for Russell Wilson. And I think we see him just kind of dominate this season. Now, granted, to counterpoint Alex, what I said to him earlier, I said, oh, Mike Williams, the 6-year wide receiver breakout. Well, I'm calling the 5-year breakout for Courtland Sutton, even though he's had a pretty big season. I think it was his third season. We're a year removed. Second season. We're a year removed from his ACL. Is this Courtland's 4th year? Did I screw that up?
He's going into his 5th year.
Okay, then I did that right. He's also a year removed from his ACL. I think last year he's never had, not just last year, he's never had a guy to throw it to him. He did that big season with Drew Lock, and you guys were roasting him earlier. You guys said Geno was better, but you won't give Courtland the credit?
You say Geno's better too. Don't act like you don't.
Yeah.
I own Drew Lock in Dynasty because I have trust.
You said it the other day.
You have him, so nobody else can have him.
I don't think
your Forrest Gump take of the day.
Did I say that? I need that clip.
I got it.
I don't know if it was on here, if it was in another conversation, but you definitely said that you thought Geno was the better of the two quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Maybe I was just feeling scared that somebody was going to make fun of me for my Drew Lock love. Anyways, I don't want to ramble anymore. Courtland Sutton, number 10, baby. But you guys can argue it. I'll let you guys argue
it. I don't know where House has him. I did love your little Forrest Gump moment there when you were like, and it's a different team this year. like that was you're selling us just on that. I mean, I think
see what it feels like when nobody laughs at your jokes. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah, but it's nice that you think that he's a top 10 wide receiver. I mean, I have him 16. I think it's me having him at 16 is a ceiling.
No,
I don't think Sutton is Metcalf or Lockett, and I do think
Lockett is.
Don't you start on Lockett. But I do think Courtland is the best receiver there. I just don't see him being the guy. I mean, last year he literally played every single game. I don't care who the QB was. Patrick still got – there's games where Patrick just got a lot more attention. Courtland is better. He finishes better. But they do have a ton of talent. I just don't see him being in the top 10. I don't see where it is. I don't think he looks that good. I honestly don't think Sutton looks that good on film.
You don't think my guy, Spidey Man, looks good, baby? Look at him.
Wide receiver 44 does not look good to me.
That's Michael Williams every year. Like what?
2 years. 2 years.
He was literally in his 40s like every other year. I think it was about 4 of 6 years he's been in his wide receiver 40s. At least. Yeah. And maybe later.
So I think our consensus here is skewed. So I'm just going to read off the numbers. Mario's 10, Alex is 16, Rob's 13. Then you have Cody at 28, me at 29,
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
I'm
These two are
assuming.
wild.
I'm assuming.
Cody loves Jerry Judy though.
I'm assuming Brian's is a miss.
Wrong.
because he has
And
him
I
at
told him to
64.
rank it earlier today.
So, so I don't know if maybe he just doesn't like him.
No. You know what
I'm
he said
okay.
though?
I'm okay if he doesn't.
Maybe I don't want to rank him higher, but it was clearly a non-rank.
Yeah. So, is he?
I thought you froze.
Is he better than DK Metcalf?
No, not in pretty much any. I don't think.
Never, ever.
I'm talking
ever,
away
ever,
from the
ever.
mic. I don't think he's better than Metcalf. I do think Lockett is talented. I'm not going to take that away from him, but it's very much Russell made.
Okay, because I was just looking at the numbers. I mean, Metcalf had 12 TDs, 967 yards last year.
Can he put up comparable numbers?
Do you see
Possibly.
that?
I see.
Well,
I
we
can
also
see
had
900.
we had a half-ass Russell last year.
Yeah.
So like
Gino
if we're gonna
threw
look
him
at
the ball.
DK numbers, I think Cortland could beat those last year. Maybe not the TDs, but I think he could pass those yards. Let me just tell you what I have him ranked at. I don't have it pulled up currently, so I'll just try to ramble. Keep the tone and keep
Are you
going.
talking about
So that
your projections?
yes, I am talking about my projections.
Good news.
I
I
have
have
them
them right in
at
front of me.
I have 95 receptions,
Yep.
1,143 yards, 7 TDs. I don't think that's that crazy. That comes to my wide receiver 10. Maybe I'm overall too low on everyone. Maybe that's what it is. But
Just looking at who you have around him.
I have Debo behind him, and I think I actually dropped Debo a little bit more because I'm not buying the rushing part of Debo. And then I really wanted T. Higgins to be on tonight's episode, so you guys could try to roast me about him, and I'll just tell you how good he is, and then probably play highlight videos or something where I don't have to speak, because that's all you really need to see is T. Higgins highlight videos to realize that you guys are way too low. But
You have Sutton and Tyreek Hill next to each other. I just want to point that out, just so you know.
you have Mike Williams ahead of Tyreek, ain't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have T. Higgins ranked the same as you, by the way, so don't lump me into that.
You're right.
I think Russell having a player like Lockett helped Metcalf out. Russ is notoriously known for not throwing in the middle. Some people say it's because of his height, but he likes to throw outside. That benefits Cortland to an extent, but you have two big receivers outside. Judy is up in the air, and Hamler's the speed guy, but we'll see what
Cortland. This is one of those ones where like it's not as obvious as Pittman, but if you smell around, you're like, yeah, this makes sense. It's Cortland.
Probably going to be Melvin Gordon's offense to really, twist the knife on you, but
God, that would hurt. I had
That's so
one
funny.
guy that the last guy I wanted to talk to you guys about, and it's Jamar Chase. You guys are way too high. It's screaming regression.
wow.
He had
Cite the big
huge
plays, cite the games.
I don't need to cite him because you guys already know him, but like I don't understand what we talked about earlier about defenses coming on. Remember I told you guys to hold on to that nugget? This doesn't apply to Jamar Chase. We're just going to act like it's no defense going to come on. He was wide receiver 5 last year, and you guys expect him to go higher?
I have him at 4, and I hate
higher.
saying this because I'm not a Bengals fan. I think Joe Burrow is arguably going to be one of the best QBs in the NFL if he's not already. I think Jamar Chase might be one of the best wide receivers in the NFL if he's not already. T. Higgins being there and Tyler Boyd being there helps Jamar Chase.
Sure it does.
And
but Jamar Chase also had stats that were like never before done.
I mean,
as a rookie, he had
Odell, same stats, bud. Odell Beckham did it that year.
I'm not
and the
talking
next
about
year.
those main stats. I'm talking about like he had 6 40-yard plus TDs. I don't think that's been done in a season for the last 12 years.
Yeah, but Odell's was right behind it.
No, it wasn't. It was Tyreek's.
I'm telling you, but Odell had big plays his rookie year. Only played, I think, 13 games his rookie year.
Where's Odell now? Unsigned.
But he had 3 years of being very, very productive, and there was nobody else than Eli throwing him the ball. I don't want the Bengals to do well, and my boy Ryan's going to hate me for this, but they're going to do well, and Jamar Chase is that guy. I hate saying it.
Go ahead, House.
I was say the talent is undeniable, right?
Off the charts.
Let's plug it. Article, right? Cody
on
wrote
Medium.
it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
On Medium, on our Medium.
That's probably all you guys need to see, where you could kind of make your choice on what you think about Jamar Chase there.
Explaining all this, right? I think I looked at the numbers, right, and he had 51% of his yards in four games. So he had 4 huge games. The rest of it was not crazy. I think that levels out. I think he becomes more consistent. And I think in becoming more consistent,
you're gonna need more targets.
It puts him up to the top. I think he's gonna get more targets, man.
More catches.
He needs
more targets.
That's the path to wide receiver 3 or 4. Yeah. That is the path.
There's my favorite line. More targets this year. I think Boyd suffers because of it, and I love Tyler Boyd
for sure.
But I think Boyd is the one that takes the hit because I think Higgins is a monster too.
Higgins is a monster.
He's very good. So
I think that. Let me give the crown over. But it wasn't anything that you said, Alex. It was House.
What? I had some valid points.
Nope.
I think House can agree. No, I think House agrees with the points I made.
Your last place.
I mean, you made some valid points, but I think I've ended our first 2 episodes that we've been on together saying I beat Alex, and I'll say
I don't think so. I think I made my Pittman argument, and I think I destroyed your
Alex came out strong. Alex came out strong on that first one.
Yeah.
You got suckered into. He baited you into that one.
A couple good body blows. He caught me off guard, but I recovered.
Yeah.
And Alex punched himself out.
I just watched. I honestly, so Alex and I worked in sales. Let me tell this last story, Alex. We worked in sales at Verizon. I don't know if I should say the name. And I just watched Alex do exactly what we were supposed to do when a customer would tell us no. He's like, oh, so you're saying this product would benefit you, but you don't want it? Yes. And then flips it on you. It was a sales tactic. You got sales tactic lawyer.
New line. Check.
There are plenty of football players that would benefit my team that I do not want.
God,
I'll leave them nameless.
Low blow. That is a low blow, I'm pretty sure.
Take it for what you will.
All right, boys. Thank you guys, everyone, for tuning in. Next week, we're going to get into some more ranks. So all next week, we got wide receiver 11 through 20, and then we're going to do some tight end 1 through 6, and I think 7 through 12, something like that. All 3 episodes are going to be ranks, and then we're going to be done with our ranks. We'll give you guys an update on I don't know where we're posting them yet, but our final rankings will be out before the season. These are kind of our early rankings, and we'll make sure to get you guys an update either on Medium or maybe we'll figure it out together. And I'll keep you updated. If you are not already, please check us out on Twitter at DadBodFS. We posted our intro there. It's pinned. If you want to go check us out on YouTube, it's DadBod Fantasy Squad. That's also where you'd find us on Twitch. YouTube, please subscribe. We're trying to get our own URL. We just need a couple, and by a couple I mean like 75 or something more subscribers, so we could have our own URL. And we will post this audio to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. There's a couple other ones. So just check it. iHeartRadio. I think we have it on there as well. Did you two have any last thoughts?
No.
Alex,
good talk, boys. I think it was good.
Yeah. I'm excited for football. Let's just say that. Season needs
I am
to come.
too. Yeah, we're in June. OTAs are starting. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Alex, go lick your
But
wounds from the
that is
pain
all
you
we
just
got
took
for you
from me and
guys.
Mario.
Alex is hurting. Hopefully he gives us his Forrest Gump wave. For Mario, House, and Alex, we're out of here. Peace.
Cheers.